right, it's over from SoFi, and look, it wasn't that close. The Rams out early and often. Arizona was stymied. They had nothing going on offense. This thing was over at halftime, and the Rams coast to an easy 34-11 win. Kyler Murray was dreadful. Say it. He was dreadful. He didn't throw the ball well. He didn't put any pressure on the defense. It was UGLY. You ain't got no alibi. Meanwhile, Matthew Stafford did enough. 2 by air, 1 by leg, snuck one in. And Cam Akers, how about that? And when you look at this Cooper Kupp, keep in mind, those numbers, much of that production came when that game was already, done in the late third, early fourth quarter. They won this one without the benefit of having a huge Cooper Kupp game. Congratulations to the Rams, who now move on to Tampa to take on Tom Brady and the defending world champion Buccaneers. All right, with Jonathan Jones, I'm Eric Casillas. Lot to like if you're a Ram fan, but what's the best thing you can say about this victory for the Rams?
I think you just hit on it with Cooper Kupp and the fact that so much of his production, 61 yards, he had a long of 29 yards. All that happened when the game had been decided. This was a 23-point win for the Rams, but he wasn't a factor at all as they were building that margin of victory. The fact is that they were able to do it on the ground. That Cam Akers was so incredible coming back from that Achilles surgery to give them not just a spark, but a boost, a real boost here. So many games, their run game has been But with Sony Michel and with Cam Akers, we saw them eclipse 100 rushing yards. And then, Matthew Stafford with the icing on the cake there. You saw a defense with Raheem Morris leading the way there as defensive coordinator that really put the screws to the Arizona Cardinals and made them look completely inept. The fact that they only really scored when the Rams defense sort of just went into prevent mode. That terrible mistake there by Kyler Murray that we're going to get into. That is the most impressive thing for me from the Rams, that they did this without the guy who just won the Triple Crown in the NFL for the first time in a decade and a half.
All right, so there's a lot to like. Whether it's Matthew Stafford getting off the schneid, getting his first career playoff win. You mentioned they did it without having to rely on Cooper Kupp. The defense was very dominant against a player that has given a lot of teams fits this year. There is a lot to like, but it's just one day.
Yep.
How much better do you feel about the Rams right now than you did when you woke up this morning in terms of making a real run here?
I feel a lot better about them because the Arizona Cardinals didn't convert a single third down. They went 0 for 9. That's an incredible defensive performance. And I know that they've been up and down, and defenses are always rising and falling in the NFL these days. Okay, that's fine. They did something great tonight against the Arizona Cardinals, a team that they weren't the same offense with and without DeAndre Hopkins, but still, you convert a third down if you make it to the playoffs. If you're the 5 seed going up against the 4 seed that you've played twice already, you convert 1 third down. They were unable to. That you have Cam Akers looking this good. So many of these guys, when they come back from the long layoff from the surgery, and we could get into the Achilles surgery that no one really comes back from this quickly, but you don't anticipate them actually being a factor. Look at J.J. Watt, who I think his name was only called one time overnight. There was a time, EK, when we were watching the game together, he had played half the game. I didn't know he had been on the field whatsoever.
Yeah, we were searching to see how many plays he had actually been in the game because we weren't hearing his name. Was wondering, was he?
And you didn't have to say that about Cam Akers. You knew that he was in the game. He was a factor. He was making, guys were making business decisions about tackling him. There was no reticence involved with him. That is what makes me feel much better about this Rams team because of how great this defense was and because of how great Cam Akers looked. Not just the guy who's coming back from injury. I'll tell you what, the Tennessee Titans would love it if Derrick Henry had that sort of juice and boost in his first game back that we're going to see this weekend.
And if you look at the numbers, you'll miss the fact that maybe the most impressive play by Cam Akers, where he caught a pass and made 3 guys miss, came back on a penalty. It was one of those plays you went, whoa, the whole room at once. The energy goes up. Cam Akers was electric in spots tonight. All right, I'm going to get to the Rams, spinning it forward to the Bucs in a minute, but first let's go to the Cards. They fade. They lose 5 of their last 6. They get blown out. They look non-competitive in this playoff game, but they did make the playoffs. Was this a successful season?
No. Because they continue to fade. This is exactly who the Cardinals have shown themselves to be over the past couple of years. It's who their head coach has shown himself to be dating back to when he was in the college ranks. This is a team that plays its worst football at the most important times, unfortunately. Remember last year when, they started out hot and it was not for the Hail Murray or, they would have ended the season on a pretty terrible streak there. Yep. And now, and we see it right here, the rest of the season when compared to the beginning. And now you have this. And listen, you can point to DeAndre Hopkins, but there are a whole lot of injuries out there.
He get hurt all 3 years.
Nope. And there are a whole lot of injuries out there. The Tennessee Titans, again, not to bring them up again, but to bring them up again, they lost their MVP for half the season, and they were the number 1 overall seed in the AFC. DeAndre Hopkins is an important piece of this Cardinals team. He's a first-team All-Pro player. There's no question about it, but you figure out a way. They didn't just lose him last week. They lost him a month ago. So you figure out a way, and they were unable to do that. So I'm not just going to chalk it up to, they lost their guy. They needed to have more in the run game. James Conner obviously banged up with those ribs and the toe, and Chase Edmonds obviously banged up. They both gutted it out in this game, but you needed more from them on first and second down to open up the passing game, to take some of the pressure off of Kyler Murray. And for whatever reason, the plan was not to have Kyler Murray running the football as he had in the last 3 games of the regular season. It was more the script from the first 15 games of the regular season.
We had a lot of 10 yards, 8 yards, 12 yards. I mean, if you go look up Kyler Murray's running statistics, you're not going to be wowed. They're not going to be as good as you think, because he's obviously crazy athletic and electric. But you have to wonder, has Kyler Murray, he's going to have to go to the next level throwing the football, because right now it seems like he has not gotten significantly better each year, like quarterbacks sometimes grow into the role, and you hope that he has not plateaued if you're an Arizona Cardinal fan. All right, so let's look at this game and see how we did. Want to know why you watch? This is why you watch. There you go. You watch, you win. There you go. Joe Musso, Matthew Stafford over 1.5 rushing yards. He won that bet by a factor of 20.
That's pretty good.
Oh, by the way, he also had the Rams, who crushed it. Todd Furman, Christian Kirk, long reception. Boom, there you go. B-Mac, Odell to score a touchdown. He got to put his feet up. That was early in the first quarter, that hit. And mine was first half under 24. I gave up a defensive touchdown, still didn't get anywhere near there. So there you go. Win, 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 win. All right, so here's where we are in the NFC playoffs going forward. Your final 4 in the NFC. The 1-seed pack. Going to welcome in the 49ers. 49ers upset the Cowboys. That is the only upset, essentially, in the first round, AFC or NFC. And the Rams taking on the Bucs. Yeah, Rams, this is a team that they're 10-0 against non-playoff teams. They have struggled against the good teams. But the only 2 teams making the playoffs that they beat all year, the team they just beat, Arizona, and this team they're going to face this coming week, and that is Tampa Bay.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.